Very, very often I'm always saying that whenever I've said something in a video, then the next video I watch or the next page in any book that I am reading, it will say the same. And so today, lo and behold, surprise, surprise, is no exception. I just thought, okay, I'm going to do a reading from the world's first spiritual Bible, and I just opened it like that, and then I came upon the title, The Illusion of Being Human as Opposed to the Reality of Being God. Now this is very much in line with the excerpt I just read from this book. For those of you that watched the last video, it's very much in relation to the videos I've been saying today. And so, what's going on? Who's doing that? Let me read you what it says. It says this. The illusion of being human as opposed to the reality of being God. To have an illusory egoic human existence necessitates a dissociation from cosmic consciousness. Our human form is the temporary dream state of consciousness. When we experience a spiritual, religious or entheogenic conscious OBE, our consciousness reverts to its origin. Whenever we dissociate from our ego, we momentarily go back to the source as far as consciousness is concerned. You see, when we dissolve the ego, we end up back in cosmic consciousness. When our physical form as a human ultimately ends, this is when we, God consciousness, go home. We are only dreaming of being human. It isn't our default state of consciousness. Our default state is cosmic God consciousness. We are God. Then I have in bold, italic, this short bit, which I'm going to read. Because I get to an impasse whereby I'm kind of like, oh my, I'm just talking to myself really, aren't I? So I say this. When we attempt to explain what we are as awoken spiritually connected people via our intuitively acquired knowing, we enter into a complete paradox. This is because we can do nothing save for jump from concept to concept in a vain and futile attempt to explain what it is that we know ourselves to be. When we say that we know ourselves to be God, having a fictitious human experience, this is in and itself doesn't make sense, doesn't make any more sense once we realize that there is no self. So let me read that bit for clarity. When we say that we know ourselves to be God, having a fictitious human experience, this in itself doesn't make any sense once we realize that there is no self other than God. If there is no self other than God, then we are doing nothing other than inventing an imaginary self which is separate from God, separate from cosmic consciousness, separate from the hologram, separate from the dream, separate from our dream, which is God's dream, who is dreaming of a cosmos with life forms just because he can. At this point, I should stop writing this book and discontinue any thoughts along this plane, because I am only thinking, talking and writing to myself, for myself and about myself. There is no other than me, myself, yes, solipsism. It all ends in solipsism, because we are a paradox. We are consciousness inventing, imagining, creating and playing. Ultimately, when we know that we are God, dreaming of a cosmos, it's time just to enjoy the dream. What I and others are doing when we speak like this is nothing more than if we were to scrutinize our egoic dreams and seek out the individuals in our dreams as if they were real, like we, the dreamer, think it is. There is only a dream in the mind of cosmic consciousness. So what I'm saying there is, when we dream, if we decide that we are going to, upon waking or even in our dream, if we become lucid, decide that we are going to discover who these other figures are, we will discover that they are just fragments of our own consciousness. We're looking for ourselves, we are engaging with ourselves, we are fighting and loving with ourselves. It's all one, it's all God consciousness, it's all God. Anyway, after that caveat, I can do nothing save continue in the dream of being both God and a human being, playing with cosmic intelligence, and so best we just continue as if we do not know what we are. God. It's all God, people. There's nothing else outside of God. Just illusory egos thinking that there's something separate from God. Nothing separate from God. Let me just read a little bit more, see if it's something poignant to this part. The rhetoric that constitutes this book may or may not be familiar to readers from other fields of study. Still, it is prolific in spiritual literature realm. It's prolific in the spiritual literature realm, and is even beginning to be studied scientifically nowadays. At long last, scientists are tentatively dipping their toes into the neuro-theosophical territory of spiritual and religious phenomena. Until recent times, this level of investigation was mainly left to philosophers like William James, who wrote varieties of religious experiences, published in 1902. These days, however, there is a well overdue sequel to that theme, written by neuroscientists who decided it was high time someone started taking spiritual and religious mental phenomena seriously. Pioneers such as the scientists mentioned below are sadly far and few between, and are often the focal point which the scientific fraternity unloads their collective fears. Now, I speak about a scientific paper which was written by scientists which speaks about the reality of one day scientists realizing that it is all God. And so, that is that from those two books and from the preceding videos. The theme carries on. It's in the air, it's thick in the air. And I made videos today, and there's a part of me which is thinking, you can't upload those videos. They're kind of mean and soul-destroying to some people. Yeah, they are. Who said it? Why? I don't know. The same entity that's enabling me to do this was enabling me to do that. And if some people find those videos upsetting, then there's more for them to think about. Who am I to keep throwing away the videos I make? Because I'm not author of these videos. The spirit running through me that is the author of these videos. And then it's ego which overrides some of these videos and says to itself, I can't put that one up, that one's shocking. But who made these videos? Spirit made these videos. God consciousness made these videos. They're all a part and parcel of what this thing is saying and has been saying over the years. And so as much as I don't want to put it up, as much as the ego says to the ego itself, don't put those videos up, I'll put them up. And you be the judge. You be the judge.